Okay, we're rolling. I just thought it'd be a good idea basically to do a kind of update on how my race went last weekend. It's been a good few days. I've had a chance to recover, and should we just get this up here? Yeah. So I've had a chance to recover, and it's been great, and I've just been very busy. I've been with people, and I've just been occupied. I've not really had a chance to kind of slow down and be with my own thoughts until today. So I just wanted to do an update on how the race, how the race went, and kind of reflect also myself, on how it went. It was an amazing race. I had an amazing time. But I wanted to just kind of reflect on what it was that I took away from it as well. So it's the first long run that I've done in quite a long time. It's been about a couple of years actually since I've done an ultra. So it was nice to kind of just, because I was kind of doubting and almost questioning whether or not I could do it. So I'm really glad that I was able to kind of demonstrate to myself that it's something I can do. So, there was no need for me to kind of doubt myself from that point of view. I did have a bit of a niggle actually in my ankle area. I didn't quite know exactly what it was, but I've been completely in denial of it. And it wasn't an issue on the race day, and it still isn't really an issue. Not really, kind of now. I think I just need to do maybe I need to do a bit of yoga and stretching and stuff. So today's also the first day that my legs are kind of feeling a little bit slightly normal. I'm able to walk around without hobbling as well, which is always a good sign. But as I said, I just wanted to have a reflection on how the race went and everything. So there's a total. How many checkpoints were there? So there was 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there was 6 checkpoints throughout the whole race for the 76k. And I would say the first checkpoint was amazing. It was incredible. I had we had a really good reception. I did carry some bars with me in my bag, and it actually turned out not to be the best thing. It played havoc with my stomach. So, I think that's basically one of the key things I took away from this, is that maybe I should ditch the bars, or I only eat the bars that I've been specifically training with. In terms of my training, I wasn't really engaging in the long runs as well, so that's what kind of made me a little bit apprehensive. But I know that ultimately when I have to do the long distances, I kind of just do it, and it's not my muscle memory, I would say, is kind of still there. So as I said, so the first checkpoint was about 11 kilometers in. It took me about an hour and a half to do that. That was okay. No struggling at that point. Everything was perfect. The vibes were high. The volunteers were amazing. And then the second checkpoint was 19k or 20k. And that took about 3 hours to get to. That was okay as well. We were in a good place. Everything was fine. The next checkpoint was at 36k. By this point, I had started to get, I think, a little bit hungry by this point. And I did kind of promise myself not to get hungry. Well, not to get hungry, but kind of just eat before I'm hungry kind of thing. So I had started to kind of eat the bars, and I kind of learnt my lesson, because I kind of felt like I'd eaten metal. Then I just thought, whoa, okay. The weird thing is, I don't remember my stomach being this sensitive and just so, I don't know. It felt like I had metal. It was all messing around with my whole stomach. That was just awful, absolutely awful. I think that probably slowed me down in some respects as well. And so by the time we got to 36, I was okay actually. I surprised myself. But I remember, so we kind of stocked up on the food. What did I eat? I literally was having watermelons at every station. And I was just kind of having lots of water, you know, magnesium sticks, those magnesium sticks that they had. So those little strips of packets. And I think it was like, I can't remember how much magnesium was in there, but basically it was just like this kind of magnesium powder that you just kind of eat and it goes straight in. You don't need to have any water or anything with it. That was perfect. And the electrolytes, they had some sweet electrolyte drinks as well that I was having, and those were like magic. But I thought I wanted to kind of maybe kind of save those until the later stages when I started to get a little bit desperate. Not desperate, but you know, just kind of started to struggle a little bit. So everything was dandy at 36k. More or less, you know, it was slightly, that was the first stage at which it started maybe slightly dodgy, but it was okay. We then our next checkpoint was the 49k, and that between the 36k and the 49k there was a huge mountain that we had to climb up. So that was just like, you know, we talked about it and I thought, oh gosh, you know, it was like this big kind of, not avalanche, but kind of an avalanche, mental avalanche that we knew was coming. And it was just like, okay. I think we overthought it, to be honest with you, and it ended up not being that bad. The guys that I was running with, there was a couple of Bulgarian guys. One was only 21 years old and had run the 76k the year before and had literally only just made it with a cut-off. But he was incredible. He's so admirable. But it was kind of like, I realised as, you know, kind of the race progressed that they weren't as experienced as I was. Which was kind of a weird feeling because I'd never really considered myself like an experienced ultra trail runner. But I guess in some respects I might be, because as we were kind of interacting, it was kind of, there was a contrast there, and I just realised, oh, okay, you know, I was giving them advice on stuff on how to, you know, kind of manage these types of races. Because obviously they weren't very used to it, and I think the mental side of things is far more, obviously more relevant almost so than the physical. So yeah, I mean, I really admire those two guys. They were amazing. Like, they did so well. Yeah, so we got to, what happened? Right, so we got to 50. So we got to 50 kilometers. And just before we got to the 50 kilometers, there was one of the other guys that told us that we need to get to the 50k mark by 5 p.m. and we had 1.7 kilometers left to go, and we had like 17 minutes left. And so we just kind of were like running, and yeah, I just kind of focused a little bit, and then we got there. We were about a couple of minutes out, but they still obviously let us through. And it was just kind of like, finally when we reached there, they were so nice. You know, they gave me some soup. Oh my God, it was like heaven, literally heaven when I got that soup. You know, we had some watermelon. I decided at that point that I wasn't going to have any bars or anything like that, so I kind of stuck with the basic simple food, and then we were on our way. So that at that point I felt like the worst of it was over. In my head I thought, wow, okay, well actually we're at the 50 kilometer mark, we've conquered the biggest, the mountain with the highest elevation, so the worst of it is over. I was convinced in my head that that's how it was. So the next checkpoint was 64 kilometers. So me and a couple of the guys, we ended up splitting up. So it was me and Slav, and then another couple of guys ahead of us. So I think we fell way behind. So I thought, okay, let's just try and speed up. So we just kind of started running a little bit, and then we kind of got through about maybe 4k with that running, about 4-5k. We caught up with the guys. They had been way ahead of us. Like, they were on fire. And so we did that. So we got to about 60k, and 60 kilometers. What happened? So we had about 4k left. Kind of at this point I was like, okay, we just need to get to the 64 kilometer mark. I didn't know how strict they were being about the cut-off times as well. So the overall race had an 18-hour cut-off, but I didn't know how strict they were being about the checkpoint cut-offs as well. So I just wanted to be on the safe side. So 64k, what happened? So actually, at about, when we caught up with the guys, this was at about 60 kilometers, and then it was 61. Then I thought, okay, let me just try and speed up. So I started running a little bit, and then I fell. This was about 62k, and I was very dramatic about it, and I let out a big scream. You know, I was feeling very delicate at that point. I was mentally feeling very fatigued, and I think just everything at that point in the race was just all magnified. You know, any small thing was just huge, and I think that's I don't even remember exactly, you know, but I remember just being very dramatic, and just, you know, me falling down, and then so I fell on my right side, and then, you know, obviously I started cramping a little bit, and then the guys, luckily they were there, and they gave me there was some magnesium sticks that they gave me very kindly. So I managed to kind of get myself back up on my feet after a couple of minutes. But I thought, let me just try and take it easy, because I just knew that if I try and, you know, even if I roll on my ankle or anything like that, I would very easily cramp, because I get cramps quite easily in the later stages of races if I run in an awkward way, or if I fall in an awkward way. I'm very kind of prone to getting cramps. So I just thought, let me just kind of be careful. I did a fast hike until we reached a checkpoint, so that was about 3 kilometers. And so then I just kind of thought, okay, you know, let me just not, I didn't want to, you know, get injured. So I just thought, let me just be a bit sensible about this. So we reached a 64k. You know, such good vibes. Everyone was happy to see us, and like, it was so nice. So we had fun. I've got pictures. I think I took a video, actually, so I can send the video. It was such good vibes at that checkpoint. You know, it is so nice when the volunteers just kind of they make all the difference, you know, with their energy. So that was 64 kilometers, and then we thought, okay, well, we've got another 5 kilometers. You know, we were in really good spirits by the time we'd left that checkpoint, because we got lots of nice, good food in. What did I have? I had lots of water. I had the magnesium. I got some gels. I got some of the electrolyte drinks, and yeah, I had decided at that point that I was not going to be having anything, any food that was going to mess around with me. So I just kept it simple. So I thought, it'll be a cinch, 5k. So we were aiming at that point when we left for 69 kilometers. I think it took about an hour and a half to get to that next checkpoint, which was a 69 kilometer. And then at that point it was getting dark. So, but we were so excited, because all we were talking about is how amazing we would feel when we finish. You know, we were in such good spirits. Like, we were like, oh my God, like, I can't believe it. You know, how proud are we going to be when we reach that finish line? We'll actually have done the 76. And so we eventually reached a 69 kilometer. By this point, as we said, it was getting dark. We put the head torch things on, and then we started navigating. So we continued after we'd obviously fueled up, and then drank some water, etc. At this point I was really itching to just finish. I just thought, I want to get this done. It had been about 15 hours at this point, and I just thought, I just want to finish. And we were convinced that, we said, okay, let's just run the last leg of it, because it's the last part, and it's 6 kilometers, so how difficult is it going to be? And well, it was very difficult. I can't even begin to tell you, but it had started to get really dark at this point. The hill was super steep, really steep. There was no defined trail. There was lots of fallen barks and trees, there was lots of rocks, and I remember there was a bit of streams and stuff at one point. And bear in mind, it was pitch black. So that was so hard. And I just thought, are you kidding? Are you actually kidding? There was at some point where, it was that steep that you just kind of had to just slide down. You couldn't even really negotiate the trail. You would just kind of had to just slide. And I just remember thinking, are you kidding? I just thought, here I am, I was so excited to kind of get through this last 6 kilometers, and now here we are just trying to put one foot in front of the other and just try not to fall and kill ourselves. So it was just so but anyway, luckily the guys that were in front of me, they had much stronger head torches than I did, and they were helping me with the navigation. And so that is one thing I've learned. If I'm ever going to do night running again, or even a little bit of night running, make sure that I have a proper head torch that is really powerful, because it was just feeling like you're blind. It was so weird. It was feeling like you're trying to navigate and you're blind and you can't really see. It's like you've got squinted eyes and you're just trying to see where you are. And then when someone put the torch on me, or the light, when Slav was doing that, and I thought, oh my god, wow, I can see, this is great. And I thought, no, I'm not gonna fall into that mistake again. That was a rookie mistake. I haven't really ran nighttime trails. I did a little bit of it in Germany, and a very small bit of it in when I did the three peaks, whatever challenge in Peak District, I think it was. Yeah. So yeah, it was all a bit of a pain. So then I thought, okay, fine. I just tried to keep going. This point is when the mental battle started a little bit. I think all my good vibes. I had been singing, and throughout the trails I was keeping the vibes up. I was singing. I was talking about funny stories. We were laughing. I was doing a really good job of keeping the vibes up. But by this point, I was just kind of starting to struggle a little bit mentally, and I just thought, well, you know what, fuck this. So I just thought I just need to put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. For me, it was just a case of, I just need to finish this, without hurting myself, basically. So, so that was that. With that, so this magnificent hill went on for about 3-4k. Obviously, at some points it was steeper than others, but at some points I was thinking, how on earth are people navigating this? I found it so hard to just have to deal with where my foot was going, making sure that, I knew what was happening a metre or two in front of me, making sure I knew where the signs were, and then just trying not to fall over. All of that, and then together with, the mental and physical fatigue, that was just really, really it was testing for sure. Somehow we made it. It was, 6 kilometers, 2 hours, a long time, but somehow we made it. I remember Slav, who I had been with, I know that the other guys went ahead, he just started to get really wound up. You know, he just thought, you know, I'm done with this, I'm done. You know, I remember him, you know, starting to get really affected mentally by it. But you know, he wasn't too bad. He was okay. But I just found that I coped better if I'm not really speaking too much to people at that point. So anyway, somehow we made it. And then, you know, we made it onto the asphalt, and then we just started running a little bit. And then we got a little bit lost at one point, and then we somehow found our way again, and then we just started running again. And then I just remember thinking, right, I just have to finish. And then eventually I finished in 17 hours and 18 minutes. It was an amazing race. It was such an amazing feeling to finish. You know, as I said, I haven't done a long run in like 2 years or whatever it's been. So that was so nice to just be able to do that. And that long runs, even the long runs I have done, like for example when I did Oslo, 80 kilometers, the elevation was nowhere near that level, like, you know, and the technical trails, it wasn't really like that, you know. I mean, obviously I did Germany, but that was 63 kilometers, and that was really hard. That was roughly around the same elevation profile. So I would say that this was probably the hardest ultra trail run that I've done, because it was the toughest. That has also been the longest. So yeah, I learned a lot though. It was great. I started to learn that I think maybe my stomach is a little bit more sensitive than I have thought it was. I also learned to obviously keep hydrated like crazy, and keep the food that I'm eating simple, and always carry chlorella tablets with me, because they are an absolute godsend. So carry chlorella, lots of bananas, keep it simple, just eat lots of fruit and veg, lots of bananas, keep the magnesium up, because that's what I was doing, having lots and lots of magnesium throughout the race. I was having lots and lots of magnesium in a couple of weeks before the race, and I'm still continuing to have lots of magnesium, and that has been absolutely amazing in helping me with coping with the demands of the race, as well as recovering as well. So that is my main take home. Keep it simple, keep it basic. You know, I'm not going to go down the road of having all these apparently amazing protein bars if I can help it. I mean, so far, I mean, the ones I did eat on the day, I think they just didn't agree with me, and I don't know for what reason that was. So yeah, that's one thing I learned. What else? Just, yeah, keep it simple. Lots of hydration, lots of bananas, lots of nice fruit and veg, just simple foods. And like in the late stages, just have lots of gels and lots of magnesium to keep everything going. And everything will be dandy. So yeah, that was my Tryavna Ultra, 76 kilometers in the beautiful Bulgaria. But it's a wonderful, amazing, beautiful country that I would love to visit again. And I've heard really good things about the Rila mountain ranges. And there's lots and lots of mountains in Bulgaria that I've learned about when I was kind of coming here, and I spoke to lots of people, and they've just kind of told me that, you know, there's so many amazing different mountains that I didn't even know about before coming. I only kind of knew about Rila and the Tryavna, but I would love to do the Rila Adventure Sky Race as well. So who knows? I will probably be back for that as well. But yeah, otherwise this is my ultra race update. So yeah, I will speak soon, and take care. Lots of love.